Mark Cuban had repeatedly said that one of his worst investments was to a guy who came up with this mobile alcohol test thing that you put in your phone, you could blow it and whatever, and the guy raised millions of dollars. And every time Mark called the guy, he was in a different holiday, he was on yachts, he was blowing money, he was drinking champagne, and the guy wasn't focusing on the business, went bankrupt. Blew Mark's money and probably other people's money as well. We've seen so many of our peers go bankrupt or fail with their idea or product for multiple reasons, but particularly that ego trip a lot of people have in the startup space of oh, well, I'm backed by millions of dollars. Well, it doesn't mean jack shit if you're not looking to actually make something happen with that capital.
I think €1,000, I don't even think you need that amount of money. I think you'd actually start with zero and start hustling, hop on Upwork, talk to your local neighbors, and pick a skill. And I'd advise then pick a niche.
Yeah.
If you love watching, let's just say, fantasy football videos, start making edits of those guys and go, here, I made 10 clips for you. Do you want them?
Hey everybody, welcome back to Build From Scratch, episode 16, Daragh, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, we're back with another podcast. And in today's podcast, it's a bit of a different one once again. People have given us great feedback about us switching up around what we're doing or what we're talking about. So we've gotten one of the most prestigious secondary schools, private secondary schools in Ireland. Their transition year students have put 15 questions to us that we have to answer that they'd want to know about or probably a little bit curious about. But before we get started, how's your week, Daragh?
I'm doing good. Do you want to introduce yourself first?
I think people know me by now. They've seen me how many times? 16 times. But of course, I'll give another introduction. So my name is Erik. I'm 24 years old. I'm in two companies. I work for Grafton Digital and Olive for Education. We're involved in digital transformation, one specifically in the education sector, and one for B2B and enterprise.
My name is Daragh. I'm 23 years old. My main company is Magnate. We're trying to build the fastest messaging tool ever created. And we also co-own a car park here in Galway City that's doing great stuff on the commercial side. And we also have this podcast. So
yeah. And our car park is called Sky Park Galway, and it's available on skyparkgalway.com. If you're a student, if you're a working professional, get in touch. We have really good offers in parking passes in Galway.
Good stuff. So my week was been really good, actually. I actually didn't even say this to you. I got the innovation voucher from Enterprise Ireland.
Oh, brilliant.
So we're going to be researching how gamification, so gamifying Magnate to make it the best feeling messaging platform ever.
Right.
So looking at things like dopamine release from a psychological standpoint, looking at streaks, looking at how can you make this like sounds and buzzing, like you were talking about, how do you make this feel the most best feeling messaging platform ever created.
That's cool.
So yeah, Enterprise Ireland green-lighted it last night.
Was it difficult to get?
48 hours.
48 hours?
I applied on Monday and I got it on Wednesday.
That's really swift. For some reason, you seem to get these grants and investments like this.
Yeah,
is this a common thing or is it just you?
It's just scoping it out correctly. Again, with Magnate and stuff, it's obviously we're in Emergent Ventures. It actually only got released there on the internet. They did a blog release this morning. That I was included in the Emergent Ventures, this cohort.
You must send it to me.
I'll send the link, yeah.
I'll give you a thumbs up.
They did say it's a social media feed.
Blogs.
Yeah, literally. So so I don't know how much I'll be publicising it, because we're not doing social media. But yeah, so got that a few weeks ago. And then the way the innovation voucher works at Enterprise Ireland is that it's €10,000 voucher, and you can do it towards third level research. So,
brilliant.
So I'm really interested in making this platform. There's a couple areas I want to research. The first one was this gamification, because I want to make this the most addictive, the most best to use platform. So doing that for research, one. And then number two is we're going to come out with prioritizing your messages based on what's most important to you, not when you most recently received it, because I think that's a better concept. You know, the way your social media feed is, it ranks based on what you want to see, not when things are posted most recently.
Yeah.
So I want to have the same thing for your messaging.
Yeah. That's like an algorithm. Would you say that's like the algorithm of the platform? Yeah.
So I want in the future get another voucher and do further research into how can we do that the best way possible. I think that'd be a really interesting area to get into. So, anyways, that was my one this week. So that was my good win.
Pretty cool.
How's your week been?
Well, since we last spoke, Daragh, you actually went to New York. You forgot to tell people you went to New York.
I did.
That looked really fun.
It was fun.
Yeah, you've met investors, you've met our mutual friend Jeremy. You guys went to Minnesota as well with Amy.
Yeah.
How would you describe your New York experience, this last trip in New York, compared to all the other trips you've taken to New York?
I love New York. I do love New York.
You have a real graw for that, like real.
The pace and energy is infectious. Like you walk away. I don't know how you feel. I know when you're over there, it's.
Oh, I come back like a crazy bunny.
Yeah.
Like it's like you're super energy. It's been like awesome to go over. You've met really cool people. It's nearly like surreal experiences in New York.
Yeah, no, like I met some really, really cool people. Hopefully some potential investors, talking to potential customers over there for Magnate and stuff. Just the energy and mindset and stuff is really infectious over there. I walked away, even though like the pace of lifestyle over there, like we were doing long days over there, because there's kind of a mixture of like working, I was doing my Irish bits, obviously working the US day, and then in the evening then going out or whatever. So very, very busy days, but lots of fun. And then we went to Minnesota to visit some of Amy's family then for a few days.
And you've got your barbecue and your beers.
Smoker.
Yeah,
smoker.
full day cook.
Like 6-hour ribs.
Was it good?
Brilliant. Brilliant. I never had food of a smoker before. It was brilliant. Shout out to Frankie. He's an absolute monster, that smoker. But no, we had a really lovely time. But no, New York, I definitely feel like coming back here, I was like, I have a newfound energy that I wanted to get after it. And really, because I think just the scale of business over there is just different. And every time you get over there, I'm just reminded of like the levels that you can reach.
It's levels. Yeah. And do you see the same? Do you see the world in the same way when, like, after this trip in New York?
Oh, interesting question. I definitely am just not taking the small things just as heavily. Like I'm just like, okay, like it just reminded me that if I focus on the big things, I just don't get bothered by the small things. From a business perspective, I think, it opened my mind up of like, okay, I can move a lot faster maybe than I would initially anticipated. And I'm definitely like, how can I get Magnate launched in the US ASAP? Because it's going to be a different landscape.
Yeah.
No, I'm definitely pushing with a different pace. I definitely made some moves when I was over there to speed things up. That I was like, I'm going doubling down. I'm going betting.
You're all in.
I'm betting the farm.
You're all in. Yeah. The chips are pushed forward.
Yeah, no, they are. They are all pushed forward. But I'm like, I believe in the concept. I believe in the product, and hopefully within the next 4 weeks, I'll be doing a big announcement with Magnate we'll be soft launching the beta version and getting the initial users onto the platform. So that's very exciting. So I'm calling 4 weeks.
That's brilliant. Do I get like a promo code and can I get like money off referring customers to you, or how does this work?
Guys, this is how this relationship works.
And we're about to deep dive into it because we did have a sneak peek of the questions that the transition year students.
Yeah.
So we've a couple of American subscribers as well, don't we?
I think the majority of our viewership on YouTube is America.
So transition year in Ireland is this mostly optional year. It's usually, I think, kids from 15 to 17 enter into transition year. And this year is all about finding your feet, getting a bit of practical experience in terms of career, and kind of exposing yourself to real life skills that you're going to need, like interview skills, first aid skills, all these random skills that you might pick up and use across your life.
Yeah.
So I think it's a really cool thing in Ireland that we do have a transition year program. It's not really known anywhere else in the world, as far as I'm aware.
You didn't do transition year, but I did.
Yes. How did you find transition year?
It was good. I was young, so I would have been graduating high school or secondary school at 17 otherwise. My parents were like, maybe for the best. But I actually wouldn't have started, I wouldn't have had the inspiration for grafting if it wasn't for a transition year.
No, I don't think so.
I also wouldn't have started
YouTube.
YouTube.
You were very difficult to deal with when you were... Is that a good description?
No, I wasn't.
Yeah, you were fine? Yeah.
I was a good lad, always.
Me and Daragh went to school together, so this is why this joke lands between us.
But I found transition year good. Like, the work experience for me was very impactful. Well, one of them I sat and played Xbox the entire week. They sat me down.
Did you have Xbox?
There was no. The office had an Xbox. They were a Microsoft partner, and they had been given an Xbox at the time.
And what did you play?
I think it was FIFA and they had Madden as well. So I was playing both.
You must be terrible at video
I'm
games.
very bad at both. I'm really bad at both. But again, it was that or say a laptop like pretending to look busy, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the other one was the inspiration, or part of the inspiration behind Grafton. Then.
There is a full round story there, but like.
Anyways, we need to.
Yeah, we get cracking because we're both in a rush this morning. Okay, question number one there, right? Be honest. How broke were you both when you started? Like counting pennies broke or eating instant noodles for a month broke?
Well, I can actually quantify this. I was
That's so funny.
I was earning 40 euros a week. So I basically would cut.
And you were
I cut
17.
grass. I was cutting grass.
And you got paid off your uncle
And my dad.
and your dad.
And that was how I earned my money
40 euros a week.
for like a year.
What's that by 52?
Not a lot. 200 euros.
I remember when
that's
we got a cup of tea in the hotel in Oranmore, and you expected me, because I had 2 jobs at the time. You expected me to pay for the tea, and it was like 2 euros.
No, I was stressed. I asked you. I was like, "Do I have to pay for this? Because if I do, I'm not getting it."
Because you know when you sit down and you have like a meeting of like, can I get a cup of tea or water or something, and you're like, no, if I have to pay for this, I'm not getting it.
Yeah. No, I was stressed.
Yeah.
I'd like 30 euros in my account, and I was like, I'm not spending. I was earning. At this point, this is about a year in. We were earning 100 euros a week. I said,
Yes.
if I'm not paying 2.5% of my wages on this cup of tea, and that was really where I was at.
That's hilarious.
Because I know you obviously started working earlier.
That's what I mean. I actually had money when we started the business. I lost my money during the business, so I was fine. I went broke during the business process, building the business. Yeah, like I think I was never broke. Like relatively, like we were like under 18.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we never had to like make it work out of a box like college students. We more had to build an empire with nothing in business.
Yeah.
You know, so, but I was thankfully never like fully gone. During the process, yes, it was very, we had to get like, when we were traveling especially, like we couldn't afford like transport or like good food or like anything. And like getting like a steak dinner was like a celebration rather than, oh yeah, let's just go get a steak dinner. You know what I mean? So it's like, it was different. But I really enjoyed just having nothing and building something out of it.
I know, and I think the one thing I look at, and even when I was talking to Enterprise Ireland yesterday, like the idea that we started with like $6,000, and again, for my context, of the $3,000 I put in, $2,000 my parents had actually gifted me at the time, and then $1,000.
That was your college fund. They actually gave you a college fund, didn't they?
Yes, my parents had some money put aside for me. They gave me $2,000 in my college fund. They were like, "Here, we believe in you. And we want you to obviously have to see the table here." So, and then the other grand, then I accumulated via my €100 a week, and then I worked in Super Valley at the start of COVID for.
Yes.
And then I worked 1 month for Dad in reception, and I used that money, and I basically
You put
scraped.
every penny into like everything you had, and you just put it in.
But again, like the skills we've learned, like okay, obviously, agency-wise and selling agency obviously is not notorious for like the huge returns, but the invaluable pieces of things we learned along that process, and like the value of a euro and stuff. Like I still to today, like even like grant funding or whatever, I still look at that of like that's the money I've earned. I need to keep this at all any means, and I would negotiate like that.
Yeah, I'm the same. You have to learn to live. You have to continue. It doesn't matter how big of a business you are. Like that whole startup phase and startup mentality, in a lot of senses, should continue to apply.
Yeah.
Like keeping cash in the bank, not spending on stuff. And funny enough, like the next question is, what was the dumbest things or the dumbest thing we've spent company money on?
Oof.
It's a funny question because I don't think we had money to spend on dumb things at the start because it was everything we had.
Yeah.
We definitely had, a lot of fun in the sense of we traveled.
Yeah.
And we've explored, and we've probably went like to do things, and we were super unproductive, but we spent the money anyways. Of like, oh yeah, let's just go to Dublin and spend the night there because we're going to come up with this business strategy. And we stayed in this really nice hotel and had nice dinner and everything. And all we done is had a few drinks and had laughs, and we ended up partying. But that's what 18, 19-year-olds would do with anything. So. it was. I don't think we spent dumb money.
We didn't have the dumb money.
No,
to
we didn't have the dumb money to spend, right? That's what I thought as well.
Like I heard a story recently. It was 2 Google employees went and raised $1 million. They did an offsite on an island. They went and went mad. They threw a huge party. They rented a penthouse that they were going to work out of their office. They blew $1 million, and within 18 months they were back working at Google. And it's, and
that's yeah.
And I heard that story recently, and I was like, I've seen that, not on the same scale of money, but in the Irish scene, I've definitely seen people go.
Many times, yeah. Like lifestyle inflation is something you don't want to get into. It's really.
But not respecting the money if you raise it.
Yeah, exactly. Like when you raise money, that's not your money.
No.
That's put in by investors for you to spend on a common goal.
Yeah,
and common trajectory. So like you spending money, like I'm sure you might have seen Mark Cuban had like repeatedly said that one of his worst investments was to a guy who came up with this mobile alcohol test thing that you put in your phone, you could blow it and whatever, and the guy raised like millions of dollars. And every time Mark called the guy, he was in a different holiday, he was on yachts, he was blowing money, he was drinking champagne, and the guy wasn't focusing on the business, went bankrupt.
Of course.
And like blew Mark's money and probably other people's money as well. I don't remember the company name, but it's like a prime example. Like we've seen this many of times. I think when we were like building the company, we were very jealous of people that raise money.
Yeah.
Like always when we seen people like raise money, we're like, oh my God, we're doing this like such a hard way. This is so unfair. Like, and there's no grants for agencies. It's just like it's a different realm. And actually, now looking back, it's like the most valuable lessons we could have learned is not having that money. And we've seen so many of our peers go bankrupt or fail with their idea or product for multiple reasons. But particularly for me is like that ego trip a lot of people have in the startup space of like, oh, well, I'm backed by millions of dollars. Well, it doesn't mean jack shit if you're not like looking to actually make something, happen with that capital. So I'm like, yeah.
It's so interesting. When I was a service-based business and we were in the agency space, like I had this weird like insecurity around the startup folk of like, oh, like we're some dirty scruff. Like
yeah, like we were like the guys like that were just around the block barely. Like we felt like we didn't deserve to be at these events like 30 under 30 and everything. You look around in 30 under 30 in our year, and most people had like a product idea, haven't even, made money.
They're all pre-revenue.
And like, okay, like 30 under 30 is to recognize like certain momentum and it's like has this prestige around it, right? And it was awesome. To be fair, I think we got in 2021.
Yeah, 4 years ago.
Yeah, 2021. So like it was awesome, but like we were talking to people and we're like, oh my God, we can't relate to your problems. Of like their problems was like putting millions into different places or needing to do X, Y, Z or trying to figure it out. We're like,
evaluations.
I'm not saying we figured it out at the time, but we're like, all we care about is scaling our business and growing our team and reinvesting. Like,
I remember, after the 30 under 30 shoot, a lot of us went for food afterwards. And we didn't know most of the guys on the list. But one guy at the table, I remember him saying, guys, Daragh and Erik, the only ones here actually revenue generating. So
can we just appreciate that?
Yeah, and I was like, I was totally unprompted, and I was like, that's hilarious that he highlighted that. But also, it was true. It was a lot of college accelerator people that were like, had like nice ideas.
Yeah.
Some had raised, some hadn't, and it was, but again, there's so many factors going into it.
From our 30 under 30, there's only us and 3 other businesses that are still going.
All right, I'm not surprised.
3 other businesses.
Us, Field Division, and a couple others, isn't it?
Yeah, the guys called Micros. This guy Daniel, he's doing awesome stuff with like veterinary testing and stuff like that. Field of Vision, and there was another startup that's still going. It's they actually bet us at when we were at that startup awards event at that fundraising
they're not
thing.
In business anymore.
Are they not?
They went out last year. Yeah.
Oh, were they?
I followed them.
And they won the award.
So they bet us on the award.
I was about to name them. I won't name them.
A year and a half ago, they bet us on an award ceremony.
And they went.
Yeah, they're belly up now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We should have won.
No,
I'm telling you, we should have won.
Yeah. But anyways,
we were so disappointed because we lost 2 awards in the same time.
To be fair, when Bingo Loco bet us, like Bingo Loco are killing
100%. Like Craig and oh my, they are mammoth of a business.
Yeah. When we lost them at that award ceremony,
yeah, we actually were like, do you know what? when they named out, like, from COVID, their business was like nothing to like they are now global, doing parties in Australia, across the United
US.
States, Vegas, New York, Ireland. Like, they are massive.
So no, when
They deserved to win.
totally.
I actually met Craig, and I said it to him because we met him last summer with Gareth, and I said it to him. I was like, "You bet me, and you weren't even at your own awards ceremony because you were here expanding in New York." I was like, "That's like a real gangster move."
Yeah.
To be fair.
Yeah, he sent one of his team to go collect the
Yeah,
award.
someone seemed to collect it. It's like a big gangster move.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 3. So, what is your next big move or announcement that you're going to make or that you have been busy working on?
Yeah, I think the next big one is going to be the beta launch for Magnate and really bringing Magnate into the fold of people can access it that aren't inside my network. I think that's the big one. I'm currently plotting, and I was talking to you a little bit this morning about this, about how I want to make that pop and how I want to kind of have that big launch and strategically how I want to go about it. So talking to all my growth marketing friends are going to be talking to over the next few days about advice about how they'd approach it. But yeah, that's what I'm really excited about, is bringing Magnate into the public domain. Because I've been working on this, like soft started working on it obviously January, February last year, obviously full time since July last year, and like I'm very excited to go and get this out into the world now because I really think we've got something really great. So
100%, and like that moment when you've like worked so hard and like you get to put it out there and like get going with it is like going to be awesome.
I post New York, I can see the end in sight with the guards having like a version 1 on the market. I am so excited.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. What's yours?
My big one at the moment, I'm taking, I've taken like quite a bit of time over the last few months and just been really busy trying to make this vision happen for Olive for Education with the team. We're going to be launching the Learning Wallet. We've actually soft launched it at the Lekela conference for secondary schools under the Lekela umbrella. So Lekela is just like a trust fund that runs many schools. So the Olive Learning Wallet, essentially, one of the biggest things that I've been constantly faced with for the last few years was basically the affordability of that technology. So what we've done is built out a package, an all-in-one package that's applicable for both junior cycle and senior cycle students. And essentially, with no credit checks, no interest, from as little as like €6 a week, you can own your own laptop. You can have access to the latest in technology for revision, for upskilling, and all that kind of good stuff, with like no hidden terms. And it's like transformative, because it doesn't matter where you are, what your economic background is, you can now afford to purchase a laptop, and your school can now bring on digital literacy, especially like there's so many digital transformation things happening with AI, with Microsoft, with Google, that schools are trying to embrace all the time. So like we've been working to break that barrier down, and we are onboarding a number of schools this year into this new offer, and it's something I haven't really spoke about. I've been very silent about everything I've been doing on social media. I haven't really gone loud and proud about it. I've been just working because it's like, I really want to make sure this is like a perfect piece of art, and it's really, really good. And now I know it's really, really good. And we've done all the steps in fundraising, backing, securing, and building this package to be able to sustain it and put it out there. So it's going to be like our next big announcement at the end of this month of like officially launching. But I suppose that's my next big move, in terms of going for it. So
no, I've seen firsthand how the vision of what you had, and you've had that vision for years of making it super affordable for families. Because it's the big thing about, like, starting secondary school for families is notoriously really expensive. Never mind now device costs, licensing costs. So you always had this idea of how do I bring this to the masses, that like this is so much more consumable for anyone of any level.
Right.
And, like then I saw you build up the plan of what that actually looks like, which is incredibly difficult. Like a lending function inside a company is so hard, which you know more than I do, but just obviously talking to you and hearing you. But then you go pull it off. I'm like, that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for you to launch that. I think it's going to be a huge announcement. And I think it'll put a lot of other countries, I don't even know if any other countries are really offering
this is a completely unique offering in the world, in one sense, right? Of like, you can go to lending companies and get a loan and get, assessed and get, kind of get a device. But let's forget about the device, right? Because device is important. That's the medium you consume content on. The big things like that we have like put together is the software part. So like we have social ties there for schools, Tutorials 360, Life Skills 360, and like Senso as a product that in there as well. So we've built like everything that you need in that laptop already going onto it. So it's like going into a shop now and buying a Vodafone phone, and you have like the Vodafone Secure apps and all that. You have something to do, you have something to protect you, and you have everything you need in order to succeed in your education.
Amazing.
Like that's like, for me, the big one is to focus on software. And I actually forgot a really cool one is the VideaI Pro. So that's what, like, I won't be going into like a whole depth on this today, but those pieces of software, from taste of AI to revision tools to social, managing social securely to getting essential life skills, just that's what really is the wallet.
Cool.
And the device is nearly a secondary function that, okay, you choose device based on what you need and what you want to offer for your school. But actually this wallet works on iPad, works on Google Chrome, and works on Windows devices. No matter where you are, just have internet. That's all. And soon that won't be probably even a thing that you can do things offline, right? So it's really cool. Like it's so new to the market. I feel like we're like Spotify right now, where it's like oh my God, what do you mean you can do this, or what do you mean you can now just have songs in your pocket in less than like a split second? So. But it's really cool, and I've learned so much over the last few months building this package, and I'm really excited to bring it to the market.
I'm excited too.
That's my next big move.
Big year.
Okay, this one is a funny one. I feel like some of these questions, we did glance over them. Some of these are like, obviously entrepreneurship and being co-founder and stuff is like a marriage. So we're about to get into our marriage questions. Okay? So how do you and your co-founder split money? Ever had I should be getting more argument over a pint?
We've done it over a pint, we've done it over the phone, we've done it in person, we've done it abroad, we've done it in Ireland.
I think the first time we've had a proper chat on this was when we started. I think I had like a superior feeling for many times, right? Because I just had a superior feeling for whatever reason, right? And I didn't respect the fact of like having a co-founder is actually like really important, and like young Erik didn't recognize the value Daragh brought to the table many a time. So in fairness, you actually held you held that thought for a long time. Like you kind of let it happen, and then kind of sat together and we had a really productive discussion. And then I was like, okay, this is fair enough. We learned to argue well, didn't we? And learned to fight well. That like if we fall out or something, we could recover really quickly. And we never brought that whole arguments or disagreements or anger into the office, into our team. We've actually always managed to keep that separate. And because like, of course you're going to have arguments. Of course things are not perfect. But there's one rule that we did always live by. And your dad taught us this. He's like, what is he going to say? But it was, if you ever get a bit of cash, right? Bit of cash is a funny concept in Ireland. So you might get €100 cash for something, right? And they're like, yeah, just here's a bit of cash. We split it 50-50. Do you know what I mean? Like that's one thing we've lived by all the time. Is like whenever we got a pound, we'd always split it into two, and we'd move on swiftly. But like other than that, like of course we had many arguments and disagreements. But then like towards the end, we were fairly solid in 50-50, and we weren't arguing. It was,
No, but I think like it's interesting because there's just seasons where like, let's say, like at the very start, like you were working 2 jobs and I was in the office. So obviously just like, and then with the team as well, I was just there every day. And then obviously then you hit a hot streak a couple of years ago on digitalization, and you networked like frig, and then you're able to just get really good traction. And like there's just those peaks and troughs of like perceived who brings more value to the table or who's more focused. And again, I think it's just a case of like, well, we had a lot to overcome because one, we're 17 and 18 when we started, so we're kids, and what the hell did we know? What the hell do we still know? But like, a little more than then. And then it was a case of we didn't understand a lot of these concepts around fighting well, even, value proposition. And also like we were still learning skills as we were building. Then add financial pressure onto that, and then add ego into that, and and a multitude of other factors. I think we've done a very, very good job.
I think so too. Like it actually is a testament to our relationship and how much we were how much we were able to overcome over the past like six, 7 years now.
Yeah.
You know, your mic just fell. If you want to put that on,
but it was interesting. I was talking to a lecturer in University of Galway.
Yeah.
And he researches entrepreneurship. I might mention this before, and he researches co-founder relationships. And he said when one person leaves the business, this is his number, 99.9% of the time they fall out and they never recover that relationship.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he said that. He was like, fact that you and your co-founder, even after you leave in Grafton, still have
that was tough.
It was tough.
That was the toughest time of our relationship when we were going through this buyout conversation.
Yeah, the first couple of weeks were really rough.
Like, we didn't talk to each other. Like, we both thought of like, okay, is he going to try to, goose me? And it was our accountant that saved it.
It was amazing, the question he got to ask.
He asked the question to me. He was like, Erik, do you ever want to do business with Daragh again? And ask him the same question. So we had this notorious coffee spot where we met for negotiations off-site beside our old office.
Yeah, so the team wouldn't see,
and it's the same. It was the same table, same chair. We sat like 3 or 4 times, and then when we got a bit more friendly, we went to a hotel.
we got coffee in the Maldron.
Coffee in the Maldron. We sat down and asked you the question, and you were like, "Of course, I want to do business with you." Yeah. And I was like, "I'm the same. So let's come from a different angle."
Yeah.
And when we hugged. Because there was like such tension, such relief, wasn't it?
Yeah, no.
Because it was like just such an interesting time, and it was so fast.
Yeah.
Because you were eager to get going with Plan, Magnate. I was eager to continue with Plan Grafton, and neither of us wanted to jeopardize the other's progress in any sense. And we had such strong communication.
Yeah.
To be fair, that's something you bet into me. Was communication, because I was always a poor communicator. So that's one number huge thing, because Daragh, if anyone appreciates transparent and upfront communications at all times.
Always, yeah.
And that's Daragh.
But no, you asked me that question. You were like, is this a case where you just don't want to work on Grafton anymore,
or you don't want to
work with me anymore? And what way do you want? Because that lays the groundwork for how this continues going forward.
Yeah.
Because obviously Sky Park was in the mix there as well,
Yeah, there was just so much at stake there.
Yeah. And obviously Grafton was on a serious run, it was only getting busier and busier, and you were flat to the mat at that point. So it was definitely a case of, and because of that being the ground, the framework and the foundation of everything we built upon, it meant that we could both negotiate and chat. I wouldn't say negotiate. I think it was all very seamless. To be fair,
it was a discussion.
Yeah, the entire time.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a case I understand the business very in-depthly. I want to make sure this negotiation doesn't jeopardize the business in any capacity, because the momentum that you had and you continue to grow and evolve into is phenomenal, and I would not want to do anything to stop that, because Grafton's going to continue to be a huge and great company. And I was like, me leaving is not a reflection of the company; it's a reflection of what interests me. The role I had, I wasn't really excelling in operations.
I miss you.
Yeah, of course you do.
I do miss you.
You have a great team.
It took there was a 30 to 60 days where it's like, oh yeah, this is kind of fine, and then. Just the avalanche of responsibility. I still haven't posted social media for Grafton. There's so many things that I'm like, I was so fortunate to have Daragh to run that part of the business. And client success, oh my God. Anyways, there's the beauty of now being a solopreneur in a way. I'm lucky to have Gareth Flower to bounce things off, and you do too. But I've got Brendan Kavanagh on the Olive side to bounce things off. Yeah. And they're brilliant supports. But you do miss a trustworthy person that can get stuff done. Yeah. I didn't realize this a little bit, when these questions are so
they're really good.
They're actually really good, yeah. And this is a good one. If I somehow convince 10 friends to give me 100 euros each, how would you invest 1,000 euros to start a business today?
Yeah, so this is the context of giving advice to a 16-year-old as well, just to level the playing field there.
100%. I think the luckiest thing you have 16 years old at the moment is the internet. Mm-hmm. And for you to be able to navigate that space of TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and all these platforms, right? And I think the easiest ways for you to make turn that 1,000 into potentially 10 grand is offering your specific like talent as a service.
Yeah.
So if you're good at video editing, photo shooting, like you can now do videos, company videos on your iPhone.
Yeah.
And I would like to argue that most 16, 17-year-olds would
100%.
have a good phone, and that €1,000 can be invested on, lighting or like a little bit of a brand. Just get yourself a domain, just like Kickstart. But I would say the fact that you don't need an hourly rate, a set wage or anything, make that your power and sell it as a service.
Yeah.
So sell your creativity, sell your talent as a service to people that need it in your local area, cut grass, do whatever like you can do. I'd be saying if you really want to get started from €1,000, do that as 16.
Yeah, because for €1,000, like to start video editing or anything else, other than maybe buying equipment, like if you need to upgrade your phone or whatever.
Yeah.
But like I think for a young person or anyone starting a business, a service is the best way to start because the startup cost is basically zero. It's just your time.
It's just your time, but also the exposure you get.
Yeah.
Like the exposure you get and the network you get, the neighbors you might be living beside, go to houses with nice cars, do these things, because when you're 16, no one's going to say no to you. Like people are going to be like, yeah, go for it, like because you appreciate the hustle.
Yeah.
And like we've been there as well. Like the hustle is actually really respected with good business people. With bad business people, it's not respected, right? No. But they're not the guys you want to be surrounded by. The guys that say no to you, you don't want those. The guys that always say yes and give you a way to get the next yes are the guys you want to be surrounded by.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
No, I totally agree. And the other thing as well is like, I just wouldn't be afraid of free work either. Like, don't underestimate the power of a testimonial case study.
Or 10.
Yeah, no, loads.
Yeah.
Like, because like let's say when I started managing social media accounts, we charged a couple €100. I mean, less than €200 per month, and we did website content.
We did everything.
We
were working for like probably €2 an hour, respectively, if not lower.
Yeah,
if
lower.
not for free, if not for minus.
Yeah.
But it was like we got like really strong client testimonials, really respected overall.
Yeah.
Like ambiance when we went around to places locally or like nationally, because they're like, oh, the grafting guys, like they do fantastic jobs.
Yeah.
And like, yes, we undercharge like really badly.
Yeah, for years, yeah.
But we've built a huge like volume business, loyalty, client loyalty, and it's just something that's invaluable in my opinion.
Totally.
And like, okay, you're starting with €1,000, we started with 6,000.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a bit of a difference, but like $5,000, I mean, hustle that and start again.
Yeah, or like 1.5 of that was to register the business, Like,
yeah.
Like, so, and we didn't really spend, like we spent it on like team member, it was
like you only spend money, I think, at the start for life or death situations.
Yeah.
Do I need this to stay alive or do I need this to keep going?
Yeah, 100%.
Everything else is luxury.
Yeah, totally.
At that point, right?
But yeah, no, I think €1,000, I don't even think you need that amount of money. I think you'd actually start with zero and start hustling, hop on Upwork, talk to your local neighbors, and like pick a skill. And I'd advise then pick a niche.
Yeah.
Like if you love watching, I don't know, like let's just say fantasy football videos. Like start making edits of those guys and go, here, I made 10 clips for you. Do you want them? As an example. Or it could be website edit.
Shane used to do that. I remember Shane Heenan used to reach out to rappers, do thumbnails, and some of them got picked up by like proper, like famous artists. And like Shane is right now killing it with, videography. But like, he used to send those thumbnails for free for YouTubers. Chris MD, I think, is a YouTuber. He used to do his bits. And all these guys, the KSI picked up on bits as well. Like, he used to just send free stuff and they get picked up.
Yeah, if you're good enough. And again, start small, learn the skill. And you can actually get paid to learn the skill, which is the ultimate hack.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like, we got paid to learn the skill.
Yeah, it's apprenticeship.
Exactly.
It's the best apprenticeship you can do.
So, I would just say services business, whatever you're interested in, learn the skill. Start doing that and pick a niche. It'll be easier to get going in a niche than being very general. If you're like, I'm just a video editor, then like, well, what the hell are you editing? Are you editing podcasts? Are you editing clips? Are you editing like promo videos for SaaS companies? Like, what are you doing? Yeah, because if you niche down, you can make your portfolio really clear, charge very little money. People are like, this is a great deal. I'll go with this, and you start going from there. And that's
100%. 100%. I'm conscious of time. We have time for one more question on today's episode. Might do an episode 2 of this, yeah?
Yeah, I think so. Do you want me to ask one of the...
Yeah, I think 7, yeah.
Yeah, cool, okay.
This is a funny one.
I actually think I'll ask a better one just to finish off with. Number 8, slightly stronger. Have you ever had a total fake it till you make it moment when you had no clue what you were doing? Spill the story.
My whole career.
Yeah.
You know, like when you're starting off with like no like business experience or like no commercial experience, and you're just like going for it, you really have to like enter this level of like mindset of like you have to be like someone else in one way or another, you know. So and you have to like ignore reality, and that's called delusion, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to be so delusional, I think, to make it in business. The ultimate one that we we laughed around in Puerto Rico as well when I told Gareth is like one of the biggest ones. Like when we rebranded Grafton and we went around for the digital transformation, I had the split opportunity to pitch to close to being a billionaire person, right, who was a billionaire back in 2010, but in Ireland there was a crash, and like I think he was like worth 880 million at the time, and he has like lost a lot of it, but he built quite a bit back, right? And I got the opportunity to pitch to this person, and he was looking at me like with like a cold, like eye-to-eye conversation and said, I don't want to do business with a child. You're a child. And he said this, you're a child, Eric, you're a child. Look, like, don't waste my time, right? And he had multiple of his business associates with him, like some family members, everybody there. I was on my own in this, so I was nervous as hell on this, right? But he was looking at me, and I just said to him, I said, but would you do business with a multi-million euro child? I was like, what do you mean multi? Like, I was like, I told him how much I make, right? And he looks at me and he goes, no, you don't. Prove it to me. So at the time, wasn't multi-million euro Eric at all, right? But I pulled up one of our customers' Stripe accounts that we managed, and I showed him the turnover on the account, and the account was like 2+ million or like it was like a couple million. This way, you know, and he looks at me and like the ball drops and he goes, oh my God, sure, this guy's a genius. Absolute genius at 21, 22 or 20, I don't know, I think it was 21. 21 making these millions. Oh, have to bring him on. Today that customer spends over €500,000 with me every year, still for the last few years. Because of that little pitch. And yes, I had to grind my ass off in the background to make it work. But that was my way in of trust. And you got to know how to build trust. But like, yes, that was a very ballsy fake it till you make it moment.
I remember you rang me afterwards and you go verbatim, Daragh, you might be upset with what I did. And I'm like, come on, tell me. And you told me a story and I went, that's fucking legendary. Like, we've had loads of fake it till you make it moments, but that one there in particular was like, you on the spot, you were, what was it, 8 people at the table, 7, and you were 1, and...
Yeah, and like, it was a mad deal because he was like, can you come back here in like half an hour? I was like, sure. And he pulled together the family and like friends, and like a load of people came in, and like around that table, like it was like a €250,000 discussion of like, we all need to spend this money right now. He even said to me, which to be fair, he didn't make me fulfill, but he goes, how much am I getting off giving you these deals? Like such a billionaire move. And I just like said, like, I'd give him a percent, like 10% or 15% or something, right? And he goes, grand. And he never actually like took it. It was just a test to see would I give for if he gives. And he threw me so many skits, and like today, like we're really strong, really good friends. I'd class him as like both like mentor, but also a great friend.
Yeah.
But he has continuously like taught me like massive lessons, and like that gave me the confidence after fulfilling for him to now have like quite a few high, net worth individuals as our customers, as our trusted customers, which makes me like really, really proud of the service we've done. And I'm really, really glad I've done that little fake it till you make it moment at the time.
Yeah.
So many more to come.
And disclaimer as well, you did tell the client afterwards you'd done that. And the
100%.
And the green light of that.
We had a couple of drinks, and I told him, and you know what? He goes, this is why you're a genius.
Do Genius is subjective.
Subjective. Right.
Anyways.
That was great.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if we'll do it again next week, but I think we'll definitely in a couple weeks' time we'll do part two.
We'll do another one. I think we're at nearly 100 subscribers.
Yeah.
So I ask anybody that's watching, if you have made it to this point or you've enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe. YouTube, Spotify, give us a follow. It means a lot. We're building good momentum with the podcast. We're happy to see views, going up, and like our retention is strong. So like that's I'm really happy to see that. So, and if anybody has any questions or would like us to discuss any topics or do anything like that, like feel free to reach out to us on Instagram. We're reading our YouTube comments and everything like that. So yeah. Subscribe, support us, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for listening. If you enjoyed it, give us a like, follow, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.